All right, so I've got a dripping outside spigot. I'm going to be changing out the flat washer. This is a very easy and cheap thing to do. Save you a lot of money if you can do it yourself over calling a plumber. You'll need both a Phillips and flathead screwdrivers. You may only use one or the other, but have them both on hand. And a channel lock plier. If you don't know, channel locks have a lot of channels that you can then set and adjust for different size nuts or pipes. Very handy for all plumbing projects, really. Then you're going to need the flat washer that you're replacing. Now, what you probably will have to do is take out the valve first, then take the valve with you to the hardware store. These washers are readily available at any hardware store. I suggest if you don't really know what you're doing, maybe to go to an Ace or a True Value where you can get some knowledgeable help. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first thing you've got to do is turn the water off. At the very least, turn it off to this one spigot. You may have to turn it off to the entire house, but if you have a valve on the inside that goes on a pipe that goes to this valve, you can turn that off. And then that's how you actually winterize. In the winter, disconnect your hose like I've done here, go inside, turn off the water coming to this spigot, and then open this valve up completely. And that way, if it freezes, the ice won't expand and crack the metal housing of this, and then you won't need to call a plumber if you can do that. But like I said, turn the water off first, otherwise it's going to be a disaster. So the first thing we're going to do is take out this screw here so that we can then pop the handle off. This one happens to take a flat head. Yours may take a Phillips head, or it might be Phillips head and has a longer slot, so you can use a flat head. But either way, have both screwdrivers on hand. Get the screw out, put that in a safe location. Sometimes these are hard to get off. Yeah, here we go. That wasn't too bad at all. Okay, next, there's a small nut here. So I'm going to take my channel locks, I'm going to adjust them so that when I grab the nut, the handles are fairly close together. I'm going to be turning it in a counterclockwise direction. There we go. If this hasn't been done in a long time, if it's been painted on or whatever, this may be hard to do. So what you may actually need is another pair of pliers and maybe a friend to grab and hold the spigot, because whatever you do, you really don't want to torque that pipe around and break it off, or you then will have to call a plumber or find somebody who can solder pipes. Next, we have the larger nut here that is part of the valve. So I'm going to open up my channels another, maybe one more channel wide there. And this nut is very thin, so I'm only going to grab on the back side of the pliers. Otherwise, I'm actually going to be grabbing the spigot itself. And all right. Yeah, notice the band-aid on my hand. This can sometimes get ugly. But so here's the problem, is the flat washer here. You see all these grooves that are worn in it. And yeah, actually I can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's some cracking around this edge from dry rot, which even though it's in water almost all the time, it dry rots. Actually, it's got a chip missing right there. That's probably the problem. And this screw will take it out. This looks like you could either use a square bit or a flathead. So I won't be using my Phillips on this project at all. Let's see. Take the channel locks, make them small. I'm going to hold this because the screw is very tight. There. Go. Set that screw in a safe place. And then I'll try to take my fingernail. Yep. All right, got it out. Very good. No damage around this metal part, so that's good. I'll take my new flat washer. And this one even says 1/2 inch on one side. I think I'll put that side down. And you'll notice the new ones are kind of difficult, like they're too big. You really sometimes gotta work them to get them to seat into this little holder here on the end of the valve. And yes, you will get black stuff from the old rubber on your fingers. All right, so that one is seated very even. If I turn it, it's evenly down in there all the way around, though it kind of domes up in the middle because it's in there so tight. So what I'll do now is replace my screw. And I'm not gonna hold it with the pliers and really torque the screw down, because what I might end up doing was make the rubber pop up and out of the seat there, but I do want to snug it down pretty good. That's about as good as I can do holding it with my fingers, so that should be good enough. Now you look in here and make sure there's no debris or anything that you might need to clean out. It looks pretty good. So then I'll just wind that back down. Take my channel locks, open them up several channels, maybe one more. Once again, I don't want to turn this until that's probably good. I don't want this spigot that's been soldered into a pipe back here to break loose, and I don't want the pipe to break anywhere where it's been soldered into a coupling or elbow back up in the wall. That would be a lot of trouble. So you got your nut, small nut, push it down, get it going. Channel lock's a little smaller. Too small. Get them. And sometimes setting this nut too tight can affect how hard it is to turn on and off the water. So if you find it to be too hard, you might want to wind that back just a tiny little bit until it feels right. There we go. Flathead screwdriver. Go ahead and wind that handle down. That way I've got tension on it and I can get the screw tight. And that should be it. So now you can turn your water back on.